Hello everyone, I'm Justin, and for today's video, we're meeting our neighbors. Today, I want to talk about an anime that finished airing in the last season spring 2024, that came out of nowhere as one of the least talked about animes of the season. Nobody watched it, nobody talked about it, nobody even knew about it, except for me. And the other 20,000 members in my anime list, but let's not talk about that. And I got to admit, I understand why a lot of people probably watched one episode of the anime and decided to immediately skip on it. Because at first glance, it is just another slice of life about kids living in a world filled with magical creatures. Nothing really unique in that regard, even though we could see some good ideas being developed. But what can you really expect from a slice of life? Let's just skip and move on to the next one. But if you took the time to actually watch the full show, you will be surprised by an incredibly well-developed story, three-dimensional characters, and a world building that actually takes in consideration yokais in everyday life and connects everything to our own world. This is Tonari no Yokai-San. But before we begin, here is a fair warning that there will be major spoilers ahead for the story as well as its ending, so please take that in consideration. And with that said, let's move on with the video. So, what is Tonari no Yokai-San about? Well, as I mentioned before, the story is deeper than you may think from the first few episodes. But basically, it starts with the idea that fantastical creatures have been living all around the world in harmony with humans, working together and protecting each other through the generations. This is visible in how yokais are essential in helping taking care of crops, but also part of more rudimentary activities such as being added to family registries. As for this particular story, our de facto main protagonists are Jiro the Tengu and Mi-chan the human girl. But honestly, the story doesn't really focus on a single protagonist, but more about the life of the people in the village, including the Nekomata Buchio and his family, the Kappa Rain and her school friends, and many other characters that bring something to the story. As I said, I first wasn't too keen on the story, especially at the beginning. It had a decent story, with an ominous feeling at the end of the first episode when talking about the disappearance of Mi-chan's father, but everything just felt too slice of lifey. Cute, fluffy yokais, nice little harmony in a peaceful village. How could the story develop aside from them just going around and having fun? And then, the real plot started to develop. It didn't happen immediately, and I still had my doubts. I still remember watching one of the early episodes and they briefly mentioned how there are multiple realities and some people sometimes wander into ours, which explains how in real life sometimes people would say that they saw ghosts or other paranormal beings. But that was it. Surely they couldn't develop further than that. And then they hit you with the Switch Bodies episode, in which one of the shape-shifting yokais changes places with a human counterpart in another world. Both sides are horrified. The human version terrified of mysterious yokais, while the yokai version afraid of never coming back, living in a world where she doesn't belong, afraid of never seeing her real friends again. And what follows is a nice piece of character building, as well as world building in the sense that they make it work in this world's science to bring her back home. Using these paranormal and scientific approaches to tell the stories felt really unique and really captured me. I was completely caught by surprise that a simple slice of life could move on to have such a deep story. And that doesn't only apply to this specific story, but also in Buchio, the newly born Nekomata, as he struggles to find his identity and understand that as his lifespan will be longer, in the future he would have to say goodbye to the ones he loves. This specifically learned through a card to Kumogami, as he becomes sentient through the care and love of his owner that gave to him, learning that the owner also had a yokai wife that recently died, and he will soon follow, leaving him behind. And of course, we also have the relationships of kids with yokai, as Rain the Kappa struggles with her relationship with a boy, as they start to get closer, but have their own issues not knowing how to interact in unknown situations, such as Kappa's not being good in cold weather. You could say that each character had its moment to shine, and developed the story and world in a way that just made me feel more involved in it, made me want to know more about it. And when you think you are already invested, they hit you with the final arc. And I have to say, that final arc wraps up everything so nicely, giving me a sense of wanting more of the story, but also fulfillment, feeling that it would be okay if there's no more to the story. As some creatures start to attack everyone indiscriminately, no matter if they are yokai or human. And we even see people dying in the streets, which is a first for a slice of life. Culminating with the yokais being the souls of the disappeared people and almost erasing all yokai from existence, only for the kids to wish for the yokais to stay. It felt like a really nice close to the story, as well as a full circle to a previous explanation that yokais came to be by the collective wish and thoughts of humanity. The story had so many developments and so many stories to tell in only 13 episodes that, honestly, I wish we had a full 24 episode season. I know it can be slow at the beginning, but once it starts going, you will be captured completely by its story. Tonari no Yokai-San is seriously one of my favorite animes of the spring 2024 anime season, and one of my favorite dramas slice of life of the year. Please give it a few episodes to develop the story, and I assure you that you will also be captivated as I was with this beautiful world. 神様、どうか見守っていてください. And with that said, we come to the conclusion of this anime review. What do you guys thought of Tonari no Yokai-San? Let me know in the comments below. Until then, see you guys next time.